because I forgot I turned that off. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. Y'all make me have crickets every time I ask a question.
Absolutely. I'm with you, Kim. I'm with you. I got your back. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the September meeting of Unlock Higher Ed. My apologies. I almost forgot what month I was in. Want to thank everybody for joining. I think that we'll just kind of like kick in. I want to be mindful of people's time. And I know that we have a guest speaker that's going to be joining us today. So I want to just kind of go around and everybody introduce themselves, who you are, where you're from. If you are currently part of a subcommittee, if you're not, know that I'm going to follow up with you. And we'll just kick it off. I'm Kim Haven. I'm the policy lead for From Prison Cells to PhD. And I will turn it, I'm just going to go across my little screen to Erin.
Erin Corbett, CEO and co-founder of Second Chance Educational Alliance, program director for the Quinnipiac University Prison Project.
And Bradley.
Hi, Bradley Custer at the Center for American Progress in Washington, D.C., and I'm on the Federal Policy Subcommittee.
Kayla.
Hi, Kayla Elliott, Director of Higher Education Policy at the Education Trust.
Jonathan.
Jonathan Blyways, Executive Director and founder of Florida Justice Center. We're a nonprofit legal aid focused on rights restoration work. And I'm glad to see Florida represented in here today. I see a bunch of familiar names and faces.
Terrific. Wendy.
Hi, I'm Wendy Hinshaw. I'm at FAU, Florida Atlantic University, and happy to be here.
Jessica Mancy. That's you, Jessica. You show up as Mancy.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know why. Sorry, Mancy.
That's all right, Jane.
I'm Jessica Snow. I'm communications for P2P and the Education Justice Project.
Now we'll go to the real Mancy.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mancy Thompson. I am the program director here at P2P, and welcome.
Mark.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Taylor. I'm the Youth Outreach Coordinator for Cal Poly Humble's Project Rebound. I'm in California, and I'm also a Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Commissioner.
Rosie.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rosie Butts. I'm the Mentor Coordinator for P2P. Jonathan, you have our prayers for the state of Florida right now. We know you guys got a hell of a thing that's trying to rage up there, but you are in our prayers.
Great, thank you. Sarah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Alpert. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives at Hudson Lang. Nice to see everybody.
And Stan. Who's in the background?
Yeah, he may have
There
to
he
go
is.
off camp. There you
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I'm in lab with my students. Stan Andrews. Are we doing intros?
Yeah.
Okay. Stan Andrews, Executive Director of P2P. Pleasure to be here.
Daddy.
Thanks so much. Jay. Jay Holder. I know he's listening. All right, Raj.
Hi, I am a PhD student at UNLV. That's pretty much it. Hello, everybody.
Welcome. Katrina.
Hi, I'm Katrina. I'm on the state subcommittee and I'm at UMass Amherst currently.
Terrific. Judith.
Hi, everyone. I'm the founder of the Freedom Glow, and I am in the federal committee and glad to be here and keeping it safe with our Floridians.
Absolutely. William.
William Freeman, Manager of Higher Education Justice Initiative with the Education Trust. How's everybody doing?
Good, good. Jen is a policy advocate. It's hard to talk on the phone. So she just put that in the chat. And Mike Leach.
Yeah, good afternoon, folks. Mike Leach with Southeast Arkansas College. I'm the director of our college programming at two correctional units, Varner and Cummins in Southeast Arkansas.
Terrific. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I want to kind of open the floor up real quick before our speaker joins us to see if there are, any news from your network, anything that you all have done. I did put in the chat a couple of articles that have recently kind of come across my feed that might be of interest. I also put the 2 links that Bradley shared with us the last time about the White House briefing and also on Fresh Start. We're all kind of watching that Fresh Start site. And there's also a link to the Google Drive that you all will be able to access, where we will start storing all of the subcommittee and the meeting notes and the meeting minutes and all of that. But I want to open the floor now to see if there's any questions, any new developments that we're not aware of. I'm looking at Bradley. Any current issues that that are bubbling up that we should be thinking about or looking at. So I will open the floor, and please, dear God, do not let me just hear crickets, because I know stuff's happening out there, y'all.
Hi, everybody. I'm just going to drop a link in the chat right now. Hopefully you saw Charlotte West's reporting on, hopefully that link works. It looks like a kind of an ugly link. Her reporting, she basically read all of the comment letters that came in for the prison education program and gave a nice summary. So if you want to get a sense of the kinds of things that were in those letters, that's a good way to do it. Or you can read all of them yourself. There were about 60 of them that Charlotte and I compiled. So if anybody really wants to see all the letters, let me know and I can send you a link to the Google folder. The other thing I just wanted to flag is that NCHEP is 2 weeks away, which is exciting. I know a lot of us will be there. And my session on Tuesday morning is the first session, and it's a panel with 3 people from the Department of Education. And so the purpose of that panel is, they'll share some remarks, and then they're going to, the rest of the time is for questions. So for everybody attending, it's a great opportunity to ask department officials directly about what's going on with Pell Grants. It's TBD if we'll get a regulation before October 11th. I don't know when the final regulation is going to be published. It might come before NCHEP, it might come after. So that's going to be a bit of, kind of like drama for us to see what happens. Either way, I think we'll get some great information from our panelists. So I hope to see you there. Thanks, everybody.
That's great. And speaking of the NCHEP conference, I'm moderating one of the panels. It's on Tuesday, the 11th at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. That I think is 3 p.m. my time. I'm not sure. And it is one of the individual paper sessions, and it has Angel Sanchez, Ginny Oshira. There's a bunch of folks that are presenting. So I encourage you to go to the NCHEP website and take a look. There are a gajillion presentations that are scheduled over the course of those days. And so I urge you to attend as many as you can. And maybe next year they too will be in person. Here's hoping. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Okay, Rise Up. We just concluded Rise Up. I think it was 2 weeks ago. It feels like it was just yesterday, and then it also feels like it was a year ago. Rise Up was great this year. The presentations were phenomenal. Some of them were the best that we have heard in a while, and it's great to know that our peers are doing such amazing work in this space and changing narratives. And we do have a playlist. We will be working to put all of the presentations, all of the playlist. Someone just sent me something. The playlist is phenomenal. I won't use the word that was ascribed to it in this group, but we will be putting all of that information up there and sharing Rise Up. But if you attended Rise Up, we hope you had an amazing time. Mark your calendars, because we're already starting to think about year 3. And that'll be coming up in September as well. Are there any other announcements? Mark put something in about FICP-FM has an event. Their national convening. That's right. Free the Vote is coming up in Atlanta later this month. Mark, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, this will be my first time attending. A lot of our allies have attended, and this is empowering formerly incarcerated people to vote. Here in California, we made a lot of progress on that with Prop 47, I believe it was, which gave me the right to vote. I'm formerly incarcerated, and I think if we can get more formerly incarcerated people the right to vote, because in a lot of states they can't. Some states they're barred for life. That will make getting higher education into these systems a lot easier, because sometimes these things have to be put on the ballots and passed by legislators in order for them to happen. But again, it'll be my first time attending. I really look forward to it because I think this is a critical part of the overall movement, getting formerly incarcerated people the right to vote and then getting them to the polls.
Well, I've been to a couple of the FICPFM convenings, and I got to tell you, they are hella fun. Just in case you have the opportunity to join us in Atlanta. Aaron, you have your hand up.
I do. Thanks, folks. So I've been traveling this week, doing some state level work in the Midwest, and I am starting to see happening in real time many of the things that we knew would happen once the legislation was passed and DOCs were giving the inordinate amount of power that they were given. There are certain programs across the country that now have targets on their backs by DOCs who are taking the position of, well, we're the final say, so if we don't like what the program is doing, they're not going to be in the facility. I think we really need to be strategic about organizing and communicating with the Ed department about things that need to shift, guidance that needs to come out, ways that DOCs can be held accountable. I mean, I feel like I've been saying this a million times and nothing ever moves forward with it. So I'm just going to say it one last time before shit explodes. If we do not do something now, we are not going to see the same kind of explosion of programs that were in existence before Pell was taken away. We are going to see a much more of a focus on trades and a disdain for the liberal arts. And I just want to sound that alarm one last time because it's happening.
So Aaron, what are your thoughts on where can Unlock Higher Ed get into this and rise to the alarm?
So, I mean, I think that there needs to be a couple of things. I mean, certainly any way we can get letters out, talking to the folks that we know in the Ed department about what's happening on the ground, because as we saw with negotiated rulemaking, they have literally no idea what's happening. And being able to provide concrete examples of how programs are being targeted is going to be important. I think those of us with connections in the higher places of the Ed department, in particular, in the undersecretary for the post-secondary unit of the Ed department, like if we know folks up in there that we can send emails to, letters to, set meetings with, I think that needs to happen heavily, because if we don't, it's going to be a hot mess.
So you said that there were several states that had targets on them.
Programs.
Okay. Do you have that in like in a list that you could share with folks? Or again, if we're going to talk about what's happening on the ground and be able to provide concrete examples, we need something to pull that information from.
Yeah, so I mean, in Connecticut, Wesleyan's program has a target on its back. And y'all know that me and my feelings for BARD programs are dotted line at best. But I'd never like to see any program have a target on its back for any reason. And so that's one example. The others were part of an evaluation, and so I wouldn't feel comfortable talking about that unless the people in the moment were talking about that. But there are a number of folks who could contribute to this conversation. And so I would really check in, whatever state you're in, check in with your higher ed and prison programs and see what's happening with your local DOCs. Are the DOCs being good partners? Are they not being good partners? Are they making decisions unilaterally about which programs can go and which ones can stay? Is your state putting together like a higher ed consortium that can serve as a collaborative partner with the DOC to kind of stem some of this. You know, lots of ways to reach out, see what's going on in your particular area and get involved.
Erin, thank you so much for bringing that up. That is exactly the kind of stuff that we need to hear and be aware of so that we can hopefully get in front of. Does anybody else have any other announcements or any other news to share?
I just wanted to talk a little bit more about what Erin's discussing. So, I mean, and Bradley brought it up too, the public comment period just passed, and like, you know, those 60 letters, many of them had the same objections over and over and over again. So I don't have any, I mean, Erin's saying if we have contacts in the U.S. Department of Ed, I don't have those contacts, but I'm wondering if anyone, I mean, who does, and if they're hearing from the Department of Ed, like I think they thought they knocked this out of the park, they got consensus, but they weren't really talking to that many people in the field that had a lot of strong feelings on this. And all these letters are saying the same objections over and over again. Do we have a sense if they're listening to that, if they're going to make changes? What else can we be doing? I mean, I don't have Department of Ed connections, but if there's other things that we can or should be doing right now, I think that this would be a great space and time to talk about that. Yeah.
I will just share some insights from a conversation I had last week with someone who was recently in the department, who was there sort of observing what happened with NAGREG and everything, and now they're not in the department. On that idea that like they think they knocked it out of the park, I am a little bit concerned about that, because there is like, obviously the department can and will like make changes to the regulation based on all the letters, but it does sound like they were pretty like confident and happy with it since it went through, since it reached consensus. Like they don't want to mess with it too much, I think. That said, I have no predictions. I didn't get any like specific intel about what pieces were changing, but I don't think we're going to see a radically changed regulation. You know, the stuff about, I just keep getting this feeling that this sentiment from department officials that they were locked in by a lot of things in the statute, and there's just no there's no room to move on some of those things. Whether we believe that's actually true or whether that's just like gaslighting coming from officials that don't want to rock the boat, I don't know. So I will just say that I think we do, some of us on this call, including me, have good contacts with people in the department, particularly FSA, where they're going to be rolling out this program. So, you know, I will keep those channels open and we'll keep asking questions. I don't think we're going to get a lot from them until we get the regulation. Then I think the conversation will open up more and they can say more about like, here's how we think this is going to work, or here's how we made these decisions. But until we get that regulation, I think things are going to be pretty quiet. So just want to reiterate that, yes, I want to hear all of the, you know, like Sarah said, like I also don't have, you know, boots on the ground in states. I need, you know, like we need to, this is a great place to share those state examples, and then we can pass those up and make sure that department officials are hearing those.
You know, and I'm thinking too that for the state-based group, I know that they were talking about ban the box, but one of the things that we could do, and we could certainly use the website for our Unlock Higher Ed website, is to be able to sort of build that base of if we know what's happening on the ground in states, the ones that are oppositional, the ones where we have some movement, you know, we can start tracking it that way. We can certainly do that if you send the information to us. I know that Judith put something in the chat about a reentry summit in West Palm Beach, October 5th through the 7th. The scholarship period has closed for that. I know that because I just checked. And but it looks like it would be a great conference if anybody wants to attend that. Are there any other announcements or things that we want to share?
Hi, this is Daisy Hicks, and I'm apologizing for my camera not working. I'm having some technical difficulties. But I'm in Virginia and I work for the Department of Correctional Education part-time as a college liaison assistant. And we have a higher ed consortium here in Virginia in which we work with all of our community colleges, and we've partnered with some of our four-year colleges to offer college programs, as well as we still focus on CTE type of programs as well within the building. So I think we in Virginia are doing a good job. Sure, is there always room for improvement? Of course. But I think with us, we've reached out to, and I don't know, I don't want to name call things, but like Virginia Tech, we work with UVA, we work with, like I said, all of the community colleges and those things, and we're trying to incorporate more support for our incarcerated students to be able to get college degrees or at least a trade before they are released. And we're hoping that we not only get them educated, but can help secure employment for them once they leave, because that's the other thing that we're pushing in the Virginia Department of Correctional Education, is not just to offer a degree, and depending on where they may locate, is there jobs there? Because at the end of it, education is important, but you need to be able to make a living once you get out with that, whatever that degree is. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the things that we're pushing forward too, is to see, okay, well, if you offer this degree, where are those jobs? Has anybody did the research to make sure that those jobs are going to be available? And if they would even be given a chance to get the job once they put in the work and the money for getting a degree. So I think Virginia is doing what we need to do at this point, and we're hoping to do even more as we move forward.
Oh, that's wonderful. Terrific. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have any news to share? I want to thank Wendy for flagging that Jonathan and Noel Vest are going to be speaking at that reentry summit. Yet another reason to go. We could hear our colleagues present. Thank you so very much. I'm going to ask Stan if his speaker is here yet.
Hey, Kim, do you have Sarah that raised her hand as well?
Yeah, I see we have some.
Oh, great. Okay.
And Mike as well. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask Kayla, possibly, is Vivian joining us?
Let me check.
Okay.
So that said, let's go to, I'm just going to go left to right because that's all I can function with right now is Sarah.
Hey, everyone. I just wanted to share really quickly that Hudson Link put together a conversation series that features some of the people that were instrumental in bringing college back after Pell got cut. So both the Bedford Hills program and the founding of Hudson Link. So the first part features the two superintendents of Bedford Hills and Sing Sing, but the second part focuses on the incarcerated leaders, John Belverde and Cheryl Wilkins, and their roles in bringing college back. I was there for the conversation between Cheryl and John, and it was a beautiful conversation. I hope people have a time to kind of read through, especially part 2. So I'm just going to drop the link to that. It's a resource if people want it, and I think it's a nice conversation. So I wanted to share that. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Mike, you had your hand up?
Yeah, and maybe this isn't the place to have this discussion, but I wanted to go back to the DOC issue that was just raised, and just, I don't know if it's Bradley or somebody else could clarify for me. I thought there was supposed to be some type of oversight committee that wasn't completely under the control of DOC in terms of, approving programs and collecting data and allowing programs to continue their operation. Can anybody sort of explain to me that connection between the oversight committee and DOC and what the sort of roles are between the two? And again, maybe this isn't the place to do that. We might not have time, but just curious about that.
I can give sort of the quick answer. I think maybe you're talking about two different things. One is what's called the relevant stakeholders group, or the advisory committee, which is a group of people that are supposed to help advise the oversight entity, which is your corrections agency, on approving or rejecting a prison education program application. We hope those will lead to good collaborative relationships, but the language of the regulation is that feedback is non-binding. So it's possible that the group of stakeholders could say to a DOC, here's what we think, and they could go a different direction with that feedback. So that's sort of the rub there. Now, on the sort of broader oversight question, this is something that I've been thinking about a little bit more, even though one of the things that a lot of groups asked for was an appeals process, so that just the DOC was not the only one making a final decision and then there was no other level of review. I don't know that we're going to get an appeals process out of this. But FSA, federal student aid, still has regular oversight functions. Just like when a college, I don't know, is not complying with the Clery Act or isn't administering federal aid correctly, FSA has the ability to conduct audits. And I think that would also include, the PEP application process. They would be able to audit if someone complains perhaps about, a DOC not doing something correctly. They could review that process and do what is the question that I don't know, like what can they make a DOC do, but they are there there is like an enforcement and oversight function within FSA. So I think those are good sort of like questions for us to be asking, like what exactly can FSA do in absence of some kind of appeals process. But those are the two, I think, oversight mechanisms that come to mind as far as what I understand are the possibilities.
Does that answer your question, Mike, or did you have a follow-up?
No, that was helpful. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions while we're back on that
Yes,
subject?
Sarah and Aaron, Kim, I'm gonna be your tech support in the background, supporting Dr.
Thanks. I have like
Anthony's.
5 windows open on this tiny little screen. Sarah?
Thanks. Thanks, Gail. So in terms of the oversight committee and the stakeholder advisory group and the things that Bradley and the question that Mike had, I just really want to echo Aaron's points from earlier where yes, we can try to change the federal policy, but if the federal policy and implementation isn't going to be changed, it's really time to start thinking strategically in your states on how you're going to go about doing this and how you're going to approach DOC. I mean, we've already started those conversations in New York, where the DOC actually wrote a letter in the public comment where they said, we don't want this responsibility. It's going to be a huge burden on each Department of Corrections to do this work. And I know in New York, they don't want to do it. And we've already started saying like, okay, write the letter and say you don't want to do it. But if that happens, really, let's create a committee that has the power to help you guys do this because you shouldn't be doing it and you don't want to be doing it. So it's really time. Don't wait for the regulation to come out. I would really start to strategize in your states on how you want to approach this, how you want to approach your DOC about it, and really kind of lead the conversation and don't let them kind of come to you with thinking they have this power. They don't know how to do this work. They don't. So I just wanted to echo that kind of that was shared earlier. So
well, and I'm wondering if maybe that's something that we should consider putting a training together for on how to approach the DOCs and how to, get the burden away from them because we know they'll mess it up. And that we can make sure that we're at least in those conversations. What does the group think about that? Again, crickets, y'all. Not even head nods. Thumbs up.
I was just typing in the chat that I agree with everything everyone has said. We shouldn't be going with them with questions. We should be, providing solutions to anticipated questions. We are saying we are essentially the experts in this arena, then let's give them their marching orders. The huge carrot on the stick that we have is financing, right? So we know that they're strapped for resources. They don't want to, they cannot do this work effectively and efficiently. So let's give them the solutions that they're looking for. And let's not go to them with our hat in our hand, but with a strategic plan as to how this can work, how we can achieve public safety, but also how we can achieve the agendas of higher education and promoting the best for individuals and families. That's all I wanted to share, Kim.
No, that's great. I think that there is also Sarah just put something in the chat that there's nothing in writing, but they do have a consortium and so a well-established one. So maybe we should be looking at their model and, devising sort of like what a plan could look like in the individual states to be able to have this. Kayla.
Yes, I believe Erin had her hand up, but then I know our guest has joined us as well.
Yeah, I saw Aaron's hand up and then I saw it. Oh, no, it's buried in the corner. There's something dark over your shoulder, so I didn't see it. I apologize, Aaron. Aaron?
Yeah, so I just wanted to also share that in addition to doing the organizing at the state level, I think we also need to be innovative and strategic about what we do at the federal level. Again, this is something I've also said a number of times, and so I will say it for the final time in this conversation. When Pell was banned in 1994, there was a collaborative effort between the DOE and the DOJ to make sure that everything worked out and was equally as exclusionary as they wanted it to be. And so we've seen this kind of cross-community collaboration, cross-agency collaboration federally before. It's time for us to start leveraging that again to say, okay, how can we bring DOJ in to help hold DOCs accountable? DOCs don't give a bug what the Ed department says, because they're not going to be the ones responsible for reporting financial aid. They're not going to be the ones responsible for doing R2T4s. Could you even imagine? But what does need to happen, because there's so much in higher ed that holds higher ed institutions accountable, and rightfully so, where is the accountability for DOCs who are unlike Virginia and who are not good faith partners and who are making unilateral decisions? How can we leverage work and partnerships and agreements with the DOJ to disincentivize DOCs that are bad partners? One of the ways, as Mancy mentioned, is with finances. DOCs get money from Title I and Title II for their ABE GED courses. I'm not a fan of taking money away from people for education, but what if part of the accountability process was the same as it is with financial aid, where you have warnings, you have different kinds of levels and statuses before you ultimately, as an institution, become Title IV ineligible? I think we should start thinking about what that could look like from a DOJ partnership ED level, right? If a DOC is indicated as being not in good faith and not acting as a good partner, what are the steps that the DOJ takes to hold that DOC accountable, and to what extent can we leverage the receipt of Title I and Title II funding to say, okay, y'all could keep messing up, but you're not going to have an ABE program, which means your teaching staff is unemployed. Like, is that what you want to be responsible for just because you don't like a book on a syllabus? So I think we've got to start having these conversations that we haven't had before, reach back into the pathways that were used to hold us down and leverage and exploit the fuck out of them to get us where we need to be.
I think it's an excellent idea. I really do. I'll circle back with you because I want to get some more information about that.
Excuse me, Kim. I wanted to respond to Dr. Elliott. I'm sorry, I saw your comment. When they are ready to speak, we will stop recording if that's okay. And I'll explain, Kim, what that looks like and why we've made that decision. So whenever you're ready for our guests, we can stop recording.
I see that Mark has his hand up.
My apologies. I didn't mean to have my hand up.
Okay.
It's not looking up on my end. Sorry about that, though.
Not a problem. All right, I'm going to transition this over to Stan to introduce our guest speaker for today.
Kayla might be more appropriate if
chat. The next federals meeting is on the 18th at 1 o'clock, followed by the state at 2. I will be sending out the Zoom link shortly. And we have a meeting. Our next meeting is on Halloween on the 31st. If anything comes up between now and then, or things you want to promote or share, or that you want to see on the agenda, please just email me and we'll make sure that we address it. And with that, I will give you back your afternoon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good day, Kim.
Bye, everybody.
William,
Yeah,
check your messenger, please, sir.
I seen it. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Mancy, man, I miss y'all, man.
MJ, I miss
we
you.
miss you too, brother. How you
Yeah.
doing? How's my little partner?
Don't forget the little people, Kim.
What?
Later, everybody.
Jay
Late.
Holder, man.
Professor
Jay.
Holder.